I'm Bree Molitor with 4x4 Nation, and I'm here with John Galbreath. So, can you tell me how you first got into this sport? You know, what drew you to rock racing and rock crawling?
Got into it first right out of high school, just knocking around in the woods with a couple of friends.
Okay.
And actually, this is my third time into the sport. Got into it, stayed in a little bit, got out.
Okay.
As got older, it's been into racing. Racing is a very competitive sport. Everybody's your friend when you're not winning, not so much when you are. Rock crawling is a great hobby. It's very family oriented, and there's a lot of people in the sport. It's a good sport, and your competition is the hill, not another competitor.
So what's your favorite kind of racing or rock crawling? How do you prefer? Do you just like trail riding or competitions? What's your favorite way to go out and spend your day?
I like trail riding. Trail riding's a whole lot more fun. In the competitions, I try to stay behind the scenes and try to help the promoters on that end of it and try to help the safety in the events. But I generally don't compete in the actual rock races.
Okay. Do you have any family that participates in this sport with you?
My wife loves this sport.
Wonderful.
Actually, when Adam was building this rig, my only rig was a single-seater, and she did not like the idea that a lot of times she would travel with me, but she would stay in the RV. So she likes it now that we can get out and go out together.
Sure. I'm sure it's a lot easier when you've got the wife involved too, right?
Most certainly, most certainly.
So what made you decide to have Adam Woodley build your rock racer?
I had known of Adam for a long time, and he and I are friends, but that's all it was. At my 50th birthday party, which we had at Gray Rock ORV, okay, we had probably 100 people at the birthday party, and he delivered Uncle Bob Barnett's vehicle called the Ubicon. And that night, after all the hoopla had wound down of that build, I walked up to him and said, "I want you to build me a buggy." And that's how it started, was from the delivery of that unit.
Can you tell me about some of the specific components that are on your vehicle and why you chose them?
Adam, when he and I started this build process, he asked me that exact question. So I told him where I wanted the cooler mounted. I told him how I wanted him to make the cup holders for the inside of the door and what type of stereo I wanted. He goes, "That's not what I'm talking about. I want to know what kind of motor, what kind of transmission." I said, "Oh, that's all your part. I know what I want. I want the niceties."
Have you ever rolled your vehicle, on its side or upside down, or do you have any memorable stories from any events you've been to?
Not this one. I am very particular with this rig, and if it's a rollover hazard, I generally don't do it, or I'll winch out of it. I have a single-seater. Single-seater's been on its roof probably every other time out.
When you're in a competition and say you're approaching a hill climb or an obstacle, what goes through your mind? What are you thinking about in that moment before you tear off up the hill or whatever it may be?
My competition is against the hill and trying the hard line on the hill and see if you can make the vehicle work slow and pull lines that nobody else can pull. Okay. The idea of hitting the hill fast and seeing if you can bounce that ledge is not my style of riding.
Okay, so you like to look for lines and maybe blaze your own trail instead of just going where everyone else has been going?
That's it.
Thank you so much. It's been great. And we'll be right back with more from 4x4 Nation.